Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on when this finds you. Hope everybody's been doing great. And true to my word, I'm just gonna continue to slowly release videos, not as often. But I did want to talk about a topic that many of us are very familiar with, and because we've always heard the phrase that freedom is free, and many of us have heard that over the years. And I remember reading in Miles Monroe's book, Burden of Freedom. And he said, freedom requires responsibility. Freedom doesn't mean we can just do whatever we want. A lot of people believe that's what freedom is. And I'm going to talk a short bit about, freedom in some different aspects. And then I'm going to, on the second part of the video, I'm just going to give you some different thoughts on freedom based on what we've been taught over the years. And no, this is not going to be a super long video at all. If it goes 20 minutes, that'll be good. I don't plan on talking long. I just want to talk briefly. It's just on my mind. But in the process of freedom, we must respect other people's freedom as well. Because you have the freedom to slap somebody, but in the process, you have violated that person. And when you violate a person or you violate principle, you actually lose your rights. And see, that person can respond to you in kind, like many pastors and Christians have taught us over the years to turn the other cheek. And I do have a video on this channel, kind of breaking it down a little bit, that it doesn't mean what we've been taught it means. And or that person can haul off and knock the hell out of you. It's well within his or her rights to respond to you that way. And see, we're taught to turn the other cheek. But my buddy John lives over, and I think he moved. I think he lives in West Virginia now. And John's got a lot of great life stories that we could all learn from. And but John has said many times, if that principle of turn the other cheek was truly what we've been taught it is in the Bible, why would this loving God send his enemies straight to hell? And see, we're taught to pray for our enemies. Well, that's different than praying for enemies of God. See, our enemies are usually people who hate to see us succeed or have blessings flow our way or something like that. See, God's enemies hate righteousness. See, in Proverbs 6, the word tells us what he hates and what he calls abomination. And see, you can't be on the side of God if you support the thing he hates. See, one of the biggest issues I see many so-called Christian women and some Christian men believe in is abortion. And God says he hates the hand that shed innocent blood. I mean, we go all the way back to Genesis when Cain, deleted Abel, and when God came walking in the, daytime, heat of the day, where's your brother? Because God said he's heard the blood of Abel cry from the ground. So if God heard the blood of one cry from the ground, what do you think he's heard with the millions of babies we've irresponsibly deleted? See, but I don't want to get off track because I'm talking about the word freedom. And I'm going to break down freedom. I'm going to break down dumb later for you. See, sex within marriage is freedom. Sex outside of marriage is bondage and can set you up for a lot of things that are not good, such as disease, death, divorce, disrespect, unplanned children, to name a few. Some people have even lost their careers and jobs and things like that because of that type of thing. God gives us the freedom to procreate, but he does not give us the freedom to delete his creation. See, his word is clear on that. See, God gives us freedom to talk about others in a positive and uplifting manner, but he doesn't give us the freedom to slander other people. That's why I say Lying is one of those things he hates, if I'm correct. Uh, I think in Proverbs 34 it said, don't speak guile. It's either Proverbs 34 or Proverbs 37, one of them. And so he's very clear on that. Proverbs 6:2 says, you're snared by the words of your mouth. And so his word is very clear on how we're supposed to talk. And, you got a lot of pastors and Christians out there that say, well, you can't speak nothing, you can't speak nothing, you can't speak this, you can't speak that. But the word says you can speak. You can speak, and it's more in more than one place. And it's amazing they tell you you can't speak something into existence, but I can't tell you how many church services I done been in, and pastors done sit there and say, well, he speak into existence, get more money out your pocket. I know y'all got it, so why don't y'all give it? But just talking about freedom, but I just get off on tangents sometimes, because that's typical with me when I'm thinking about something and I start talking about something. My mind is always running, it thinks about something else, and I just go. But his word is clear. What is freedom? And see, that all depends on the context in which you're speaking. If we're talking about slavery, then freedom means being released from the shackles of another who has bound you to forced labor against your will. If we're talking about war hawks will tell you it's for democracy. In reality, it's about profits and enslaving other people to their ideology. If we're talking about the Bible, it's being free from a life of sin. See, in Eisenhower's first inaugural address, he said the conflict between the United States and the former Soviet Union is one in which freedom is pitted against slavery. And, then you have some theologians out there that say freedom is making right choices. And then you got another group of people say some people actually declare freedom to be whatever that individual decides it is for the moment. And see, is there freedom for you and I when platforms will not allow you to speak freely, but allow news media and approved system doctors to speak freely regardless of how many people get harmed in the process? Is there freedom for you and I when the Christian church will only allow approved individuals to teach the gospel in these buildings? Well, God said he's done the will anyway, contrary to the word of God. Yah. Is it freedom of speech when a pastor of a church condemns an associate pastor because the associate spoke straight and taught straight from the Bible, but it upset the congregation, and then the lead pastor got up after the message and told the congregation everything his associate said was true, but he told his church, don't listen to it? And that's a pastor that I respected for years. He's passed on now, but I respected this guy for years, and when I heard that, I was done. And so, do we have freedom when police departments, law enforcement departments can do no-knock raid on a person's private residence, tear up their private residence, sometimes kill the residents with no repercussions, like the ATF just did with a guy in Little Rock, Arkansas back in March? And of all the 12 agents, not one body camera was working. See, do we have freedom when men are put on the hook financially, even when the DNA tests have proven they're not the father of multiple children in some cases? I just saw something the other day. This guy, his daughter, well, he thought was his daughter, needed some kind of medical procedure, and they were trying to, make sure DNA match, blood match, and all that. She gets her blood work. Then he goes and gets blood work, find out they have no connecting DNA. So now he's doing DNA on all the children. He has 4 children. Out of the 4 children, the only child that's his was the baby. Now, they were married before all 4 children were born, but only one was his, and the older 3 each had a different father. Then his wife told him she only messed up one time. I guess it was one time with each guy. But that's not freedom. Somebody's trying to enslave another. And a lot of times these women are allowing the system to enslave these men. See, personal freedom does have limitations, as I mentioned. When I said, you're free to enslave someone. You're free to do so But when retaliation comes, you deserved it because they were free to protect and defend themselves. You know, I heard a gentleman say some years ago that you cannot have personal freedom without financial freedom. And you cannot have financial freedom without personal freedom because they're Siamese twins. So how free are you? You are not free if you cannot financially miss work for any extended length of time without losing something you think you own, dipping into your savings, dipping into your retirement. You're not free. But what if freedom doesn't mean what we think it means? See, and I told you in the beginning of the video, I was going to talk about that, and I told you I wasn't going to talk long. And but I looked up the etymology of the word freedom, and one of the meanings for the word freedom is the word wild, W-I-L-D. Another meaning is not holding strictly to rule or form. Given without cost is another one. Dom, D-O-M, means a title of authority or dignity. It means Lord. It means master. Think about, dominatrix. We're adults here. What does a dominatrix act as? So what does that say about the word Christian, though? One of the meanings of the word free is unrestrained in movement, loose, wild, as in an animal. These are all from the etymology online. And so when we put the two words together, free and dumb, what we get is a loose and wild animal, which is unrestrained in movement, that does not hold to rule or form, that asserts himself as Lord or master. Land of the free, home of the brave, land of the free, land that I love, land of the free. A loose and wild animal which is unrestrained in movement, that does not hold to rule or form, that asserts himself as Lord or master. See, the people that always want to scream freedom are always the ones who go everywhere and violate the freedom of other cultures and races and lands. So we've been talking about freedom, right? What if all of this time we have been saying to free Edom from every evil deed he has ever done? Free Edom from all the atrocities he has ever created on people all over the world. Free Edom from the usury he has created. Free Edom from all the suffering he has caused all over the world. Free Edom from all the theft he has participated in. Free Edom from all the lands he has stolen. Free Edom from the identity he has stolen. Free Edom for making everyone into debt slaves. Free Edom for making black people slaves. Free Edom for operating under a primitive and prehistoric law system that goes all the way back to King John Lackland with the 1215 Magna Carta. Free Edom from creating division worldwide, especially in America. Free Edom from all of the inventions he stole from Black America. Free Edom from discriminating against dark-skinned people all over the world. Free Edom from creating a color system in America. Free Edom from creating a racial hierarchy. Free Edom for making black descendants second-class citizens. So, what if we just, I like to do word search puzzles and things like that. That was one of the things I, still have to work on, writing again because of my wrist. And so still trying to strengthen my wrist. And, one of the things I have to do is write and do things like that. But I like to sit there and make words out of other words, I remember when I was in elementary school, one of my teachers always, she would take a word and put it on the board and tell us, see how many words we can make out of it. And I still do that today. Even if I see a commercial on TV of a word, I say, well, let me see how many words I can make out of that in my head. One of the young ladies on my social media page, she made a post several days ago, and she was saying, if you can get, it was like 7 letters there, and said, if you can get 20 words out of this, you're considered a smart person. In less than a minute, I had created 29 words because that's what my mind's always doing. But what if we broke down the first part of the word free? F, the letter F. Edom wants us to forget and forgive. Or they've went around and replaced people or removed people. Everything in everybody's culture or everybody's economics. So we want y'all to forget and forgive that we replaced or removed y'all, and we took everything, we took everybody's culture, and we took everybody's economics. And they signed it, Edom. So leave me some thoughts on that and tell me what you think about freedom now. Talk to you later.